right, hey everyone. Today we're going to be exploring New York City's Flatiron District on one of the most ominous looking days of the year. Now the air quality is horrendous. This is some of the worst air quality we've had in New York City since the Canadian wildfires of 2023. We're standing on the corner of 27th Street and 5th Avenue, looking straight down at the Flatiron Building. And as you can see, you could barely see it. It's this orange kind of hue that you have that's just totally covered New York. Now, I was in the Bronx earlier today, and it is way worse, probably by a magnitude of 2. But it still looks crazy here in Manhattan. So we're going to be doing a full walk around the Flatiron District and kind of capturing some of the ominous looking shots of the Canadian wildfire outfall of 2026. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started as we head southbound on 5th Avenue. Now, for those of you who don't know, the Flatiron Building is an extremely famous building in New York that was actually sold at foreclosure auction. And a developer purchased it in the foreclosure auction and has since turned it into condominiums. So the Flatiron Building, which was once a prominent commercial office building, is now ultra-luxury residences, and they are selling extremely well. Here we're overlooking the skyline of Madison Square Park from the corner of 26th Street and 5th. I would say if you're going to be walking around outside for longer than maybe 4 hours today, I would suggest wearing a mask. This New York City bus is not happy with this Uber driver here. A little bit of a fun fact or a forewarning for anybody who's driving in Manhattan. All of the New York City buses now have cameras that automatically write tickets. So if you pull in front of a bus, you're stopped at a bus lane, the camera on the MTA bus will read your plate and automatically issue you a ticket, unfortunately. Well, or fortunately, depending on who you ask. The inside of Madison Square Park houses the original Shake Shack in New York City. That was the first location. Look at that shot. Now, it's not only obviously the look of the smoke, it's the smell. It quite honestly smells like a campfire out here. This is now Worth Square. And we're passing 10 Madison Square West. is a great apartment building, actually. You can see everybody taking photos of the Flatiron Building just because it looks so remarkable with all the smoke. You'll still notice the bottom third of the Flatiron Building is still covered in scaffolding, but let me tell you, they've done a phenomenal job with the restoration of the Flatiron. I'll try to zoom in as much as I can, but just look at the details. It's just striking building. We're now approaching the corner of 24th Street. This is the Eataly. Now the Eataly has recently been renovated, where you have a brand new cafe. The smoke looks to be clearing a little bit over to the east side. Now that we have the light, we'll go ahead and cross 24th Street and Broadway. Now we do have some kind of breaking news here. Right in the Flatiron District is going to be the first location ever of the Korean coffee chain Mega Coffee. Mega Coffee has really exploded in popularity throughout South Korea. It's known for their oversized portions and cheap prices. It's going to be interesting to see how Mega Coffee competes with the likes of Luckin Coffee as well as Mishwe. As we've talked about before, Mishwe has really been making a big push into New York City. They have the most fast food restaurants by location. There's about 45,000, well, actually more, about 60,000 locations of Mishwe globally. More locations globally than McDonald's. So if you're interested, maybe do a quick Google search. Mega Coffee, a Korean coffee chain, is coming to New York City's Flatiron District right here, right around the corner. You know, before we continue, I do want to walk right in front of the Flatiron Building to point out an interesting fact to all of you. Okay, if you stand right here on the corner of 23rd Street, in between 5th and Broadway, and you look up, this used to be the best view you could possibly get of the Empire State Building. But now this tremendous, very, very skinny skyscraper has completely ruined the view, as you can see here. Now this building is 262 Fifth Avenue, and in this tremendous monstrosity of a building, we only have 23 residential apartment units. Yeah, that's right, 23 units in that building. The developer was actually supposed to build this building to be 1,100 feet tall. They've since reduced the overall height due to economic conditions, but now that building has destroyed the view, the iconic view, might I add, of the Empire State Building from the Flatiron District. But for the lucky buyers of those apartments, you're going to have some remarkable, remarkable views. We'll now go back to Fifth, and we'll continue on our walk downtown. If you want to do a little bit more research yourself, again, the building address is 262 Fifth Avenue. I mean, looking all the way up Fifth Avenue, it is just, it almost looks like a dust storm all the way up there. To the right, we have Salsui, which is, I believe, a French bakery. And they make all their pastries in the shape of fruits. Okay, we're now coming up on 21st Street and 5th. On our walk down, you'll notice really a change in architecture from a lot of our Midtown Manhattan walks. You have much more pre-war, really striking architecture as the stark juxtaposition of the Midtown Manhattan glass skyscrapers. Let me know in the comments what you enjoy more. Do you like kind of the Midtown Manhattan glass skyscrapers, or do you more so enjoy the architecture that can be found here in Flatiron? I always say this, for living, I would prefer the more modern buildings, but for the aesthetics, I much more prefer kind of the pre-war style architecture, for sure. But for living, I mean, if you can be in a building with, 9 or even 10-foot ceilings, floor to ceiling glass windows, great sweeping views of the city, it's kind of hard to go back to living in a very dark pre-war co-op. This is a great kind of cityscape shot here. It's a little bit reminiscent of Soho when you're walking directly down Broadway. Looks like they're filming something. You always run into something interesting in New York.
Everything, the lodging, the Stevenson. No, you gave it to sounds like it. Like, I don't know. I've never heard. I always thought it was like
This is 156 Fifth Avenue. Another really striking building. Here's another look northbound. Up Fifth Avenue. There's a Nespresso store coming up here in a minute. And I think Nespresso has done an amazing job because you can go inside the store and try any coffee that you want. And there's no pressure to buy anything, which almost makes me want to buy more stuff. It's kind of funny how that works. You just pick the specific different pod that you like, and they'll let you try it for free. Okay, we're now in the corner of East 19th Street and Fifth Avenue. Once we get to the corner of 18th, go ahead and make a left. Wind's actually picking up quite a bit. Perhaps the rain will start to come down, although yesterday when it rained it actually it kind of made things worse. But in any event, take one more quick peek looking northbound on 5th before we start to head and make our way east. On the side streets, you'll really be able to see some of the beauty of the fire escapes here in Flatiron. It's almost as if the smoke is now kind of like eye level to me as we approach the corner of Broadway. And across the street we have the FDNY. This is Engine 14. If we were to make a right on Broadway here, this would take us to the very, very front, or the top section of Union Square Park. Which will go down to 14th Street, Union Square.
I remember you were getting like bowls to outfit your kitchen.
I got one. We only got one bowl, and I got it in Argentina.
Uh-huh. Okay.
We got one. We have other bowls. No, any other bowls? I feel like last time we talked, you just got your one.
What you're seeing here just off to the left is a brand new extension of the bike lane. And brand new public outdoor space. This looks new. There's Voodoo Donuts. They have a location in Miami, Florida, in Wynwood, Miami. We have now entered Union Square Park. Look at how hazy it is here. That's crazy. It's almost as if the dust has settled and is hovering directly over the park here. That is remarkable. Here you could really get a sense of the kind of the openness of the new public spaces.
Say you know somebody's fucking fault.
The only thing about the public spaces is you always have a few derelicts that kind of just takes over the spaces and kind of uses it for incoherent rambling or screaming. But that is just part of the game. We're now East 18th Street and Broadway. I'd say maybe about 10 to 15% of the people who are walking past are wearing masks. Look at how gorgeous the Crate and Barrel store is. When we stand on the corner, you'll be able to get a better sense of the architecture, but it's honestly one of my favorite buildings in the city. Mainly because the retail space is so grand. You'll be able to see it here. So this is now the Crate and Barrel. Just look at that. take a look adjacent our location here on East 20th. Isn't that a beautiful building? We're actually about to see one that's even more stunning across the street. If we stand right here on the corner, you'll see the complete facade. Isn't that a little unreal? And this is a pretty interesting shot because you can just see the sun kind of peeking through all the smoke that's clearing. But, I mean, isn't that magnificent? That's a great building. And it looks like Valley Bank is moving into the main retail. I feel like that's more suited for like a restaurant. The kind of the ambiance of the dining room would be unlike anything on the block. Like a nice Italian restaurant going in there. Okay, now we're headed northbound on Broadway. You can kind of see the back section of the Flatiron Building. So we've seen the Flatiron Building from the front, now we're seeing it from the back looking north. Kind of covered in smoke there. This is East 21st Street and Broadway. This is the Cha-Cha Matcha, which is a very, very expensive matcha tea store, but it is very good. That I will say. But look from here. This is going to be a really good shot of the Flatiron. Wow. Now with this zoom, you can see each individual lion head. There's going to be 5 lion heads across the top of the Flatiron Building. And if we go one more, maybe we'll be able to see him in better detail. But there you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, the craftsmanship there is unbelievable. Unbelievable. They don't make them like they used to. That's for sure. This is Motek. This is in an Israeli restaurant. There's many locations all throughout Miami, Florida. I think the first time I've been to Motek is actually in Miami, near the Aventura Mall. But now there's even one in the Brickell City Center. cut over and make a right. And we could just now see the sun breaking through the clouds. Or I should say the smoke. Now, I'm curious about this restaurant to our right. This is a Korean restaurant, I believe. I'm not too sure if it has a Michelin star, but we'll go ahead and check it out. But it seems always busy. Very nice dining room. So what I want to do now, everyone, is kind of exit the Flatiron district for a moment and venture over towards Gramercy Park and check out some of the clubs over there. One club which we'll see on today's video is the Players Club, or the Players, which has one of the kind of the last standing gas lanterns left in New York City. You'll see one outside of the Dakota, you'll see one outside of the Players, and there's a few more sporadically scattered throughout the city. Oh, I really like this storefront here. I love the color. Kind of that reddish color. I think the further east we go, it's getting worse. We're now coming up on Park Avenue, and we're going to be very close to the campus of Baruch College. Now, Baruch is a CUNY school in the City University of New York, and it is well known for finance, obviously, being named after Bernard Baruch, a very famous financier. Now, in terms of some exciting commercial real estate news here, the building adjacent to us was just recently purchased by Airbnb. So the building that you see right here is going to be the brand new New York City headquarters of Airbnb. And look at how striking that landmarked building is. I mean, you talk about an architectural marvel. I mean, look at that. Come on. Is that not gorgeous? So Airbnb have acquired this building, and that is going to be their brand new New York City headquarters. It's right on the corner of East 22nd Street and Park Avenue South. Now crossing eastbound. This is the 6th train station, 23rd Street, Baruch College. Now we're headed over towards Gramercy Park. This is now the corner of Lexington Avenue. If you were to make a right, that'll bring you right to Gramercy Park. And we're right on the campus of Baruch. We have the lights. And look at that view. You can barely see the Chrysler Building here. How insane is that? The visibility is probably less than a mile. We're now going to head south, and you'll see the Players Club.
Very lightweight.
It's really such a lovely park. I don't really like people like that. You know, even though the pedestrian, is stuck in the middle of the crosswalk and it's the vehicle's turn to go, just give people a second. Like, you don't have to be so pent up and strung out over it. Here's the main entrance, the main gate to Gramercy Park. You can see the Gramercy Park Historic District here. It's very peaceful and it's very elegant here. You'll see a lot of the properties that are surrounded Gramercy Park. I really love all the greenery though around the park. It makes such a difference, I'm telling you. And now we're going to see the very front of the Players. This is Gramercy Park South, or East 20th Street. What do you think of that?
They're called pebbles.
And here you go. This is the main entrance right there to the Players Club, or the Players. It's such a beautiful building. I really love the gas lanterns. It's very reminiscent of the ones outside of the Dakota, which we've covered oftentimes. The Players is a remarkable club. Well, if you all enjoyed tonight's walking tour, feel free to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and as always, we will see you in the next one, and thank you so much for watching. take care.